Okay, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Now I have a video here, and it's titled Elon Musk Neuralink enters human trials as 21 patients receive brain implants. So jumping right into it.
A new brain chip developed by one of Elon Musk's companies is being described as a game changer.
And we know this isn't, new. This has been an ongoing operation, right?
The chip is being trialled internationally and allows patients to control and manipulate laptops and other devices with the power of their mind.
It's a massive change in your life where you can suddenly no longer move any of your limbs, and this kind of technology kind of gives you a new piece of hope.
So see what he just said there? You can no longer move any of your limbs, yet this piece of technology gives you hope. And that's what they're banking on, right? These elites, for the most part, right? Because we know this technology that they're pushing is all headed towards what? The MOTB. Is all the implementation of that beast system, right? Through their technology, the system of complete control, authority, surveillance, a digital slave system for the people of this world other than them. And through the use of convenience, right? He can no longer walk, he can no longer use his arms, whatever. Yet with this implant, he is now able to, what does it speak about? Controlling a mouse on a computer screen or whatever, right? Because that's so cool. But this is the picture that they paint to get people to want these things, to accept these things, even though it's witchcraft, even though it's, left-handed wizardry. But because, we're making, we're doing things for the people who can't do it, right? Making it so that the people who can't walk can now walk, so on and so forth. And it's because that they do that. When we speak against these things, it makes us look like the bad people, because we know what the true outcome of this is. But because they're it's like a present wrapped up all nice. On the outside it looks good, but on the inside, there's a chopped off head or something in the box, and we know what's on the inside of that present. But on the outside it looks good to the people of this world, right? And that's why, again, they're going to demonize us, right? Because we come against things like this because we know what it's leading to, right? Can you imagine someone's grandmother just regained the ability to walk because of a brain implant, and we're telling them how that's bad? They're the Lord is going to destroy them. They're going to look at us crazy. Right? But that's why scripture says, if we can grab that in Isaiah chapter 5, woe unto them who say, who change good for evil. This is Isaiah chapter 5. We can start at verse 19. We start at verse 18. It's Isaiah chapter 5, verse 18, and it reads, woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity, and sin as it were a cart road. Meaning, just wicked, continuously wicked, wherever they go. That say, let him make speed, and hasten his work, that we may see it, and let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel draw nigh and come, that we may know it. Right? Basically trying to mock. Oh, you say your God's going to return and enact vengeance? Well, let it happen. We can't wait to see it happen, right? Because they think it's not coming when it is. But verse 20, the point, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. And that's what these devils are going to do to those who bring out the truth on things, to bring out the truth of the matter, who bring out the gospel of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because we're speaking the good, right? We're bringing out the light on what these things really represent, what they're really trying to push, yet we're going to be demonized for it. Looked at as evil, because the things that are looked at as good we call evil in this world. The things that are looked at as good in this world are actually evil. And these technological miracles are one, man.
Though he's paralyzed from the neck down, Sebastian Gomez Pena can now control his laptop and phone using just his mind.
Well, everyone in my position tries to move something of their body.
That's literally a superpower, quote unquote, right? That's literally something you would see out of like X-Men, Marvel, you know?
See if there is any form of recovery. But now I think I'll move my hand to the right, to the left, think about clicking my fingers, and the technology just understands what I want to do, and it does it. Yep.
You wouldn't even know the chip was there until it needs a daily charge.
If you hold it to my head right there, this means this is how we charge it.
So I'm charging the chip.
That is exactly what you're doing.
See, and you see how the words that they're using, how they're basically framing this as like a marketing, you know, oh, you wouldn't even notice it's there unless you charge it. Like, oh, you know, this guy couldn't walk. This guy couldn't walk or use his laptop or use his phone until he got this brain chip. Now look at him, you know, trying to appeal to the people. And they use these sob stories, right, to hit at your emotions, because these devils know how to, you know, they know the brain, right? Scripture say they do a diligent search, so they know what makes people tick. They appeal to your emotions, you know, to get you feeling bad. So when a guy likes a man of the Lord says, nah, fuck this, and fuck what they got going on, you look like the demon. You look like the devil. But whole time, you coming in the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the spirit of righteousness. And that's what I was getting into about in Isaiah 5:20. Right? They're going to paint our good for evil, man. And they're going to paint the evil good. But scriptures say, woe unto them, because the end of that man is destruction, man.
A keen rugby player and musician, Seb had just finished his first term at medical school when he made one ill-judged dive off a boat on holiday.
When I dived, I hit the floor and hit my head, and alongside breaking my neck, also broke my front two teeth.
So you just finished your first term in medical school, yet you're dumb enough to do some shit like that.
And yeah, that's how I started.
But it ended up with Seb enrolling in the first UK trial of the Neuralink device, a 5-hour operation performed largely by robot, which, through a hole in his skull, inserted threads 1/10 the thickness of a human hair, connecting 1,000 electrodes to the part of his brain that controls hand movement.
Let's stop right here. You already know what we finna grab. It's the book of Revelation chapter 13. We can start at verse 13. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 13, and it reads, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Let's start at verse 12, actually. We start at verse 11. The beast from the earth, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. This beast is speaking about America, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, the bipartisan system, Republicans and Democrats, and he spake as a dragon, going into the draconian way that America is going to implement, as well as how they spake as a lamb. You know, these devils, they're deceiving. They come to you all good like, but once you let them in the door, they change the whole room. You know, they changed everything they said. They do the opposite of what they said they would do. And that's exactly how President Trump has been moving. You know, even that's why those who voted for him have those regrets. You know, because he turned into a complete dictator, which is what he was before. But now people are seeing it because of the actions that he's taken. You know, I believe earlier, not too long ago, this man said that he wants to raise the house market or the price for houses, as if this shit's already not, you know, at a record-breaking high. That's crazy. Yet this is the man that's supposed to get everyone the jobs and, you know, have everyone financially stable, so on and so forth. Verse 12, and he exerciseth Salakia, all the power of the first beast, which was the Roman Empire, the ancient Roman Empire, and America and its allies come back today on the revival of that. But America is the face, you know, the head. And causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Right, and those great wonders, speaking about this fire, is what? Those missiles, those nuclear bombs. You know, I believe the names were Fat Man and Little Boy. You know, as well as other military advancements or advancements in general. And other great wonders, right? What we're watching now is a great wonder. Being able to control your phone, your laptop, using your brain, using your mind. You know, that's, is it telekinesis? Or telekinesis is just moving things with your mind. Either way, you know, that's a great wonder. Verse 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. And that's exactly what is going on here. They're trying to deceive the people of this world by the means of these, you know, quote unquote miracles. What did the guy say? You know, the technology gives him hope. That's what miracles are supposed to do. They give you hope. But they want everyone to hope in their God, you know, technology. Not hope in the God of the Bible, whose name is Yahweh, by the name of his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles, because through this deception, they're going to make it seem like, oh, this is a good thing to do. You know, that's going to lead people to get these brain implants, to get these micro C-hip implants, not knowing that it's just leading to their death, right? And that's in the 14th verse. This is Revelation, the 14th chapter, Salakia. This is Revelation chapter 14, verse 9, and it reads, doom for worshippers of the beast. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, the beast, America, NATO, EU, again, the revival of that Roman Empire and his image, the system that they're trying to put in place, that ancient Roman Empire system under the new skin, which is what? That technology that they're trying to implement, this beast technology, these brain implants, the micro C-hip implants, this complete surveillance, you know, digital slave system, complete authority. You know, there's going to be them, the elites, and the rest of the world. That's going to be the dynamic, for lack of better words. You know, and their robots and automation running everything. And Salakia, because I am in kind of a rush. But if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead, what did we just watch?
Which thrive. But it ended up with Seb enrolling in the first UK trial of the Neuralink device, a 5-hour operation performed largely by robot, which, through a hole in his skull, inserted threads 1/10 the thickness of a human hair, connecting 1,000 electrodes to the part of his brain that controls hand movements.
It makes the experience.
You know, it created a hole in his skull. And receive his mark in his forehead, right? And when we look into that word mark, let's get that real quick. It's charagma, letting us know that this is going to be a literal thing. You have the Greek word charagma, and it reads a stamp, an imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand on the badge of the followers of the anti-Hamashiach, the mark branded upon horses, thing carved, sculpture, graven work. This, let's go back real quick. This tool right here carved the hole in his head for them to implant that Neuralink of idolatrous images. And when you go into it further, leave here, yeah, you have the word harax, which would be likened unto this tool that is used to carve. Let's read it here. It reads, from karaso, to sharpen to a point. Ooh, what's that? A point. A pale or stake, a palisade or rampart, pales between which earth, stones, trees, and timbers are heaped and packed together, in which a pale, a stake, or a palisade is kind of like a sharpened wood. But this karax would basically be the thing, as I said, that would be used in order to grave, you know, in order to cut into the flesh. Let's go here, this word, grapho, to write with reference to the form of letters. Okay, that's going into something else. But yeah, right, the charagma would be the mark, the actual RFID micro CF implant, whereas the harax would be what's used to implant it, right? What's used to cut into the skin and input it. If any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the lambs, going into that great nuclear destruction, thermonuclear destruction of America, known as Babylon the Great in the scriptures, as long as other places. But the nuclear destruction, as well as the fire and lasers from the chariots, or so-called UFOs, of Yahweh Shai and the angels. So if you take that mark, you will, you know, that's going to be your judgment. If you're over here in America, at least we know that for sure. And going back to Revelation 13 and 14, that's the deceptive part, right? Because they tell you, take this, you know, you'll be able to live a better life. Sooner or later, they're going to force people's hands into taking it, because without having this implant, without having the mark of the beast, without having these implants, you know, without having infused yourself with some kind of technology, you will not be able to participate in the society that they're trying to create, which is that beast society, that system, that image that they're trying to, you know, put on the world. And it reads that here, let's continue reading. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, say to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, right? And what we're witnessing is the image of the beast speaking, right? Where we're seeing things that lead up to the MOTB, right? That lets us know that it's speaking. If we can look at something and we can be like, okay, we see where this is going, right? We see what this is leading to. Then we know that it's speaking on that beast system. It's speaking on that image, right? The puzzle pieces are being put down. You know, we're seeing steps being taken toward the implementation or implication of that system. So it's speaking to us because we can hear spiritually and see spiritually what's coming. Continue watching this.
Which, through a hole in his skull, inserted threads 1/10 the thickness of a human hair, connecting 1,000 electrodes to the part of his brain that controls hand movements.
It makes the experience a lot better. I mean,
This is the first time his doctors have seen him since the device was switched on.
That's brilliant.
Good control.
This technology is going to be a game changer for patients with severe neurological disability.
See, there they go. Trying to get the pity out of you. This is going to be a severe game changer with, you know, patients with neurological disabilities. So if you're against that, then you're against, you know, helping people. You're against helping people with neurological disability. What shame on you? You know, no one should hire him. No one should let him come buy food at their store. So on and so forth, man. That's where the ostracization, is that even a word? If that is a word, right? That's where that comes in. Us being made to look like the bad of society because we don't accept this wickedness.
And those patients have very little really to improve their independence.
I can do up to 4.
Neuralink, which allowed us to access the trial but didn't want to be interviewed, now confirmed 21 people have been fitted with the device.
It's like, let's say if they had a cure for cancer, right? And that cure was the blood of people, right? I'm just giving an example. People didn't really know that, but we knew that, right? So we're trying to tell people, yo, do not get that cure. But on the outside looking in, it's, yo, why are these men telling, you know, cancer patients not to get the cure? You see how that looks? Because on the outside looking in, shit, you're on the outside looking in. You don't really know what's going on the inside, man. But the men of the Lord do. Because the Lord revealed it unto them. And he told them, I revealed this unto you, now go reveal it unto my people.
Including 7 in the UK. Some users are able to train the AI that interprets their brain signals to type on a virtual keyboard, even control a robotic arm, or just played with their children.
Oh, you smoke, man.
The company's controversial founder promises even more.
As we advance the Neuralink devices, you should be able to actually have full body control and sensors from an Optimus robot. So you could basically
see, you see how he's connecting it? Because I remember last year, 2025, at a shareholders event, how when he basically made the whole announcement about these Optimus robots, how they're going to, you know, dive into production, and sooner or later there's going to be the $1 trillion plan or whatever, right? There was someone who asked him, which I'm pretty sure that was set up, if later down the line these Optimus robots, people will be able to basically inject their consciousness into one of these robots in order to ultimately live forever, right? So you see how that's actually, he's trying to bridge over into that, right? He just said they'll be able to use and control these Optimus robots using their mind, so on and so forth. And that's what it means when scriptures say that the image of the beast is beginning to speak. It's speaking. We can see it, man. We can hear it loud and clear. See where the things are headed. You know, we're not ignorant of their devices.
Inhabit an Optimus robot. The future is going to be weird, but pretty cool.
Weird, and with it, serious.
See, and they're just cheering it on. He's like, "Oh, it's pretty cool." Yeah, we'll see.
Questions about future users' safety and privacy, but are way off. Neuralink still needs to do larger trials and share its data with the public to prove these devices are safe and effective long term.
One of the most
Elon Musk, whatever you think of him, does have a record of success, but in this endeavour, he depends on brave, determined volunteers like Seb to deliver it.
Now, and what this reminds me of is actually there's a scene in the show. Damn, I keep forgetting his name. The show that was on Netflix, bro, with the whole integrated consciousness thing. Damn, what's this name? Let's search it up real quick. Because there was a specific scene, and it's basically this, right? There was a boy, there was something wrong with the boy, and he was one of the first to volunteer to have his consciousness uploaded into computers ultimately. Does this start with a P? Pantheon, that's what it's called, Pantheon. Right. I don't know why I keep forgetting it. But yeah, there's basically a scene where, you know, there's a guy, where there's a child or whatever. It's basically just like this, but instead of having an implant put in his brain, he had his brain put in the computer. Now let's finish off here in Revelation 13. And he had power to give life unto the beast, unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right? And that's what's coming. Right? Those who don't, you know, accept this system are going to be persecuted, man. Mainly dealing with, you know, the men of the Lord. There's going to become heavy persecution behind not bowing down to the image of the beast. But we know that ultimately it's all just a trial from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So we maintain the faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and we'll be good, man. It's that simple. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Again, that mark, charagma, a literal physical implant. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, right? And that's going to be another way that they force you. Right now, they're trying to, you know, appeal to the emotional aspect of people. You know, appeal to the convenience aspect. But when that's no longer working, and these devils know they got to hurry up because they know they have but a short time, then they got to start forcing people's hands. All right, you don't want this implant? How you going to eat then? And now I bet you get this implant. You know, you don't want this implant? How you going to work? You can't work unless you get this implant. Now I bet you get this shit. But when those times come, those who have been serving the Lord, we know that the Lord's going to take care of us, man. So fuck what these devils got going on. We trusting in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, as we've been doing. Verse 18, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it's the number of a man, and his number is 666, 666, chi, psi, stigma. Right, and when you look into that last 6 stigma, it goes into cutting into the flesh again, because the Lord let us know, man. Stigma, a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked, cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belonged to. What did we just watch here? Right, the guy, he had a hole cut into his skull in order for them to, you know, implant the Neuralink into his brain. And it's going to be the same for when they implant it in people's arms or hands or wherever they put it. It has to be cut into, man. And not only is taking that MOTB going to ultimately lead to your destruction, right? You're going to take part in that lake of fire, but we know that it's a sin to even have cuttings in the flesh, right? It's Leviticus chapter 19, verse 26. Okay, that's not verse 26, verse 28. It's Leviticus chapter 19, verse 28. You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And I believe it's also here, Leviticus chapter 21, verse 5. They shall not make baldness upon their head, neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard, nor make any cuttings in their flesh. So, you know, you're basically, in getting this mark, not only are you condemning yourself to destruction even further, but you're doubling down on your disobedience to the Heavenly Father, which just further condemns you, man. Because it's a sin. And we know the wages of sin is death. So that's why everything the Lord is doing, everything the Lord has done, everything he does, everything he's going to do, is all justified, right? I did a lesson yesterday how you cannot plead your case in the day of judgment, because everything the Lord does is justified, man. There is no wrongdoing with the Lord. Everything he does is right and just. You deserve whatever you get. Anyone, everyone, we all deserve whatever comes to us, man. If the Lord brings it upon us, that means we were worthy for it to be brought upon us, right? The Lord doesn't make mistakes. Now there's another video I wanted to play, which basically goes hand in hand with this one, right?
I'm in the Associates in Science in Nursing program back in the 90s.
Real robots.
We read, I mean, what was they saying at the beginning of the last video, right? Or was it Elon Musk, how the future is going to be funny or whatever, or interesting? Salakia, or I believe he used the word cool, right? Well, we're going to see how cool it is when, you know, you have robot cops, robot dogs in a military controlled state that tell you, you know, what time you could be outside. Mind you, you grown ass man, what time you could be outside, what time you better go to work, you know, how long you better be out, how much money you can spend, and how fat, like, just complete control, man. By something that's not even human, mind you. But the slightest rebellion, you're put to death. Right? That's going into that, the beast that spake as a, roughly paraphrasing, came as a lamb but spoke as a dragon. this devil is going to get real devilish, man. Because it's no longer going to try and play the nice guy. These devils are no longer going to try and play the nice guy, man. They're going to come out with this shit as they're already doing, right? Because they're conditioning us with these ice raids, you know, people dropping dead from them. That's just conditioning the people to get used to, you know, if you disobey, you die. But let's hop into it. China rolls out robot cops in cities to push humanoid robots in daily life. Right? That pushing is what? It's gradualism. You know, they're gradually or slowly conforming the minds of the people to get used to this, to get used to that. You know, get used to seeing this, to get used to working with that. Get used to, you know, how this is done. You know, and there's no coincidence how it's all happening at the same time, right? In America, China, Russia. It's like after they availed AI out to the public, shit just sped up rapidly, man. AI advanced hella quick. In the midst of that, you had humanoid robots popping out left and right. Everybody and their mama started making humanoid robots, bro. That shit went global out of nowhere. Yeah, I know they were already working on these things, right? You had Boston Dynamics and, you know, places in China with the little robot dogs, but it was never mainstream like that. But once AI took off, all of a sudden we have humanoid robots everywhere, bro. You know, it's almost as if the people, the leaders of this world were working together. I don't know. You know, it's not like scriptures say that or anything. It's the book of Job, chapter 5, verse. I had to skip it. This is the book of Job, chapter 5, verse 12. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty. Who is this he? The Heavenly Father, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. He disappointed the devices of the crafty. Who are the crafty? Ultimately going into the elites of this world. Why are they crafty? Because look at what it is that they're crafting, right? This beast system. They've been orchestrating things to where the end goal is that image, right? That beast system, everyone's implanted. You know, everyone has the mark. Robots and whatever work everything. All you do is comply or die, right? You live your mundane life, you know, however they have it. You know, a global basic income and so on and so forth, man. They're trying to craft one big ass factory, really. So that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. So the Lord is going to bring an end to that. They're not going to perform their enterprise. Their plans are going to be halted, right? Quickly. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, right? How does the Lord take the wise in their own craftiness? Well, he uses what they thought, right, was going to lead to their benefit to be against them. And one way is these nuclear missiles. You know, the Lord gave them the knowledge on the left-hand side to be able to build these things, and he's going to use that to destroy them. When these nations launched their nukes on America, signifying the fall of Esau's kingdom. And the counsel of the forward is carried headlong. And when you look into this word headlong, it basically goes into like fast or hastening. A wrong word, Slakia. Headlong, mahar, To hasten, to be hurried, to be anxious, hasty, precipitate, impetuous. To hasten, make haste, hasten, to hasten, prepare quickly, do quickly, bring quickly. And the Lord is going to bring their counsel down quickly, man. The counsel of the wicked, they're going to be brought down quickly and brought down greatly. You know, scriptures speak about the Lord destroying them within an hour. Do you know how short that is to bring down all of this shit that they're doing? It's all going to be brought down within an hour, man. The image of the beast, the system that they're implementing, all of their plans is all going to be brought down within an hour upon the Lord's return. That's Revelation 18. This is Revelation chapter 18, verse 19. And it reads, and they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city being America. Read that Revelation 17:18, wherein we're made rich, all that has ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate. Right, going into these other nations who gained wealth through America, they're going to be lamenting when the Lord brings this place down within an hour. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Most High hath avenged you on her. Right, and that's what we're waiting on, for the destruction of America, ultimately the destruction of Esau, Edom's kingdom, the so-called white man or the so-called white race. You know, for what they've done to us, to the Lord's people, the blaspheme that they've done to our God, you know, the destruction that the pollution that they've done to the world. You know, it's covering wickedness, man. They got to pay for all of that. Also, what they're going to do to us, right? Because again, those who don't bow down to this image, to this system, those who don't take their mark, don't worship the image, we're going to be persecuted. Some of us are going to die. Some of us are going to be, preserved through it all. But in the end, we're still going to be persecuted. So, they got to pay for that too, even though it hasn't happened yet. But still, it's prophecy, so it's going to happen. Verse 21, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down. Again, like I said, they were thrown down headlong, right? Quickly. It happened quickly, fast, great. Thus with violence shall the great city Babylon, America, be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. So let's get back to the video. Damn, we didn't even start it yet. Slakia.
At nearly 6 feet tall, the newest police recruit on patrol in the city of Wuhu command.
Hold on, I remember. We were in Job chapter 5, verse 14. Verse 13, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime, and grope in the noonday as in night. Right? So they meet with darkness in the daytime, meaning they meet with wickedness, throughout the day, and grope. And we look into that word grope, it means what? To feel in the noonday as in night. So in the noonday, the day, as in the night, which is what? Darkness. Because these devils are 24/7 wicked, man. They're continuously wicked. Scriptures speak about them being born, wicked, being born speaking lies because of their wickedness. And that's why scriptures also say, roughly paraphrasing, let favor be shown unto the wicked, yet will they not learn righteousness, because it's in them to be wicked. That's their spirit. That's who they are. So let's go back.
Attention, less because of the uniform than the 6 high-definition cameras and advanced sensors under that hat that allow the AI-powered robot called R001 to manage the flow of traffic and people in the streets and around the clock. It looks just like a real person at first sight, says this pedestrian. Real-life Robocops like this have been rolled out in other Chinese cities too, including Chengdu, Hangzhou, and Shanghai. One of the police instructors says the robots work alongside human traffic officers, or they can tap into the traffic lights to work solo. The Robocops aren't designed to be particularly fast or fearsome, but they are a key part of a wider strategy.
Not yet, right? This is we just testing the waters right now. When it's time for that, it'll be time for that. You know? You see, we already see what these humanoid robots doing, man. Kick flips and back flips and karate and boxing, and you know, that's not for no reason now.
Strategy here to show off China's advances in robotics and to make machines more familiar to the humans whose lives they'll soon be transforming. Chinese robots have moved quickly from factory floors to daily life since 2015, when China's government declared robotics an industry to dominate. It has scaled up to produce 595,000 industrial robots and 13.5 million service robots in the first 3 quarters of last year. Morgan Stanley predicts China's robotics market will hit $108 billion by 2020.
And this is another form or means of miracles, you know? Basically creating their own life. Yeah, it's not, you know, natural life, but inorganic life. They have these robots, humanoid robots, right? They're not human, but humanoid, meaning human-like, with the spirit of what? AI intelligence, you know? Scriptures speak about how these devils like to play God, so much so that they're going to try and take his position, right? Which is not going to end well for them.
28. There are now more than 150 companies making humanoids.
So how long have you worked here?
We went inside one of the leading firms called Unitree last year and met G1 EDU.
Yeah.
The robotics industry is backed by state funding, a lot of it, as well as venture capital. China's supply chain and talent pool help too.
Describe the pace at which robots
What was I just speaking of?
and humanoids are evolving here.
Once it will work, it will go very fast. I think the unsolved problem at the moment is really still the brains. You don't want to have a robot that does a job 90% right. You need to have it do it over 99%.
Which is why they let the world get a hold of this AI to perfect the human brains. Well, I mean, Slakia, the technological brains for these robots.
Right.
The robotics craze here is also powered by a state-sponsored public relations machine. Videos across social media show off robots.
See, shit, all fun and games until that become the RoboCop, right? You try and you know how people when they get pulled over, they try to run off. Well, imagine you try and run off and the robot car taps into your damn car and shuts it off. Now where your ass going?
Kicking and performing stunts. Last year, Beijing hosted the first ever World Humanoid Robot Games, with robots in all shapes and sizes competing in events ranging from soccer to sorting luggage. These days, it's...
And all of this is, again, it's just gradualism. Getting you used to it over time. Just like they did with, you know, this whole LGBTQ shit. I remember when I was a child, right? My mom used to be extremely against it, right? When it comes to me and my brother, nowadays, she's all, accepting. Why? Because over the years, they've pushed that shit on people, man. That be who you are shit. They say be who you are, yet let a man turn into a girl. That's not who he is.
About accelerating embodied AI to build robot brains that can both think and interact with humans. With China's aging population and declining birth rate, robots and humanoids will change the future of work and daily life here, leaving the trundling robocops on duty in Wuhu to be only a
See, and people think with robots changing the future of work and daily life that it'll make their lives easier. They get to go out, do whatever they want now. We don't have to work, right? We're going to have a global basic income, so we can just live our lives freely. No, it's not going to work like that. People have a sense of a utopia for everyone in the making, but it's not like that. The utopia that these elites are creating is not for you. It's for them. Them and them only.
View of what's to come. Janice Mackey-Freyer, NBC News, Beijing.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
Now you see how,
check this out,
these news channels, these news outlets, they can tell you, oh, this is what's to come, right? But when the prophets of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai tell you what's to come with what's to come, then there's a fucking problem. Now it's, oh, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Oh, conspiracy theorists, this and that. The mocking and scoffing comes behind it. Let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 20. And it reads, He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He has broken his covenant. Right? And that is the trait of a what, man? The trait of a devil. Someone you can't trust. The trait of someone constantly deceptive. They go back on their promises, right? They come to you as a lamb, but then speak as a dragon. The words of his mouth, which is the point I want to get, verse 21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, right? They come to you, okay, it sounds nice, right? We have this Neuralink brain implant, it can make the neurally disabled people now be able to participate in life. That's the smooth things, with this brain implant or this micro C-hip implant, we're now able to get under the skin, using our 6G, as Trump said, to fight off cancer and cure it. Those are the type of miracles and things that they're going to say to get people on board with this system. But again, those are just their words being smoother than butter. Just to get you to lay down, man. Just to get you to put your guard down. Just to get you to open the door. But once you open that door, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Once you open that door, it's up. You don't let them come in, and they finna come in and take over. And arrange shit how they want it to be arranged. People don't realize that the things that they're accepting now is just leading to them being a slave. one worse than what's happening now. And ultimately leading to what? Their death. Because what these people, these devils, you know, Esau, what they're preaching to the people is, you know, they're speaking all this good about this technology, you know, promising you life or hope through this technology. Meanwhile, it's doing nothing but bringing you death, right? We read in Revelation 14:9 how those who worship the beast, his image, take his mark, they're going to be tormented with fire and brimstone. That's the part that these devils not telling you, but that's the part that the men of Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Bashar are telling you. Yet they're the ones who get who catch all the bullshit. The ones who are telling you the important part are the ones you get mad at. It's crazy, man. Now let's get the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 15. Then we could probably close it out here, right? I did ask chat what was the meaning of, let's just go to it before we close it out. I asked chat, what does it mean when something begins to speak? Not literally. When something begins to speak, not literally, it's usually a figure of speech. It means the thing is communicating or revealing something in a symbolic way, not with actual words. And the image beginning to speak, right? These Neuralink, these implants, these robots, this AI, all of this technology, it's all speaking. It's all revealing something, and which is what? Well, number one, that the Lord is at work. You know, the prophecies are unfolding, and that beast system is coming to life, right? They are building up to it, right? They're building up to the MOTB. They're building up to the mark of the beast. That's what all of these things reveal when we see it. It becomes, number one, it becomes evident or shows its meaning. And that's exactly what it is. It's evident that, number one, what the apostles and elders and bishops of GMS have been teaching is true, right? The words, the true gospel of Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shai, the true breakdown of what the mark of the beast is evident that is correct. And it's evident that we're closer than ever to the end, man. The evidence began to speak, meaning the facts started to clearly point to the truth. And that's all it is, man. Pointing you to the truth of the matter, to the truth of what the MOTB is, to the truth of what these devils got going on, to the truth of Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Bashai. All the things we're seeing is just signs pointing to the truth, man. And for us who already know this is the truth, it's just confirmation, right? Because we know. So when we see these things, that's why we rejoice. Because it's just confirming what we learned, what we knew to be true. Yet for others, they see these things and think nothing of it. Because that's the Lord who has blinded them. Number two, it said it has a noticeable effect or presence. The painting speaks to you, meaning it is powerfully conveys emotion or a message. It testifies or proves something, right? It's proving that, again, the apostles and elders of GMS, you know, through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Bashai are correct. So on and so forth. Personification. Right, so let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 15. And we can close it out here. It's 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 1. And it reads, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, right? Because basically going into, you know, the unfaithful. They're going to come against us, speak against us, as we spoke of earlier. But as we read here, we're not to let that trouble us, because we have faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. We know what's coming in the latter end. So whatever happens to us now, whatever we go through now, whatever these people of this world do now, it doesn't even matter, man. Because whether dead or alive, which if you're dead, you're going to come back. But whether dead or alive in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, you live, right? There's no way for you to fall in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai if you're of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. You know, the end of a man in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is salvation, is everlasting life, is everlasting righteousness. You know, the promises, so on and so forth. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness, and because of that unfaithfulness, what are they going to do? They're going to take that mark. Because as we read in Revelation chapter 13, verse 15, I believe, or 17, how basically you're going to be ostracized if you don't take this mark. Well, the unfaithful are not going to put their trust in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai in those days and end up taking the mark and end up being tormented by fire and brimstone. Domino effect. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. Also the unfaithful, right? They are going to be of this world, right? So they're going to conform to the ways of this world, in which they're going to ultimately worship the image, worship the beast, you know, and take his mark. Again, all leading to their death. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. So the Lord said, okay, y'all did enough. Y'all, the time is up, right? And the time is up for America. The time is up for Esau and this wicked ass world, man. And if you don't want to be a part of the sword, famine, death, and destruction that the Lord is going to bring, because the time is up for this world, repent, you know, and turn back to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So with that being said, you know, Lord willing, this video was edifying and all was kind of over the place. Slack you for that. But again, Lord willing, this video be edifying, uplifting, or exhorting, or informative, you know, in some way, shape, or form. And once more, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Raha HaKodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the hopeful elect.